One of the best parts of pairing your MacBook Pro with an external graphics enclosure is that it gives you the ability to upgrade the graphics down the line by swapping out the card. This means that the day that a new, more powerful graphics card comes out, you can open the enclosure, remove your old and busted one, and swap in the new, exciting, more powerful graphics card. And for me, that day is today. Finally, the Radeon Pro W5700 came out, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on one. Much like the Vega cards before it, the Radeon Pro W series is a workstation class card, and it represents the company's first professional 7nm card. Connectivity-wise, this card can handle up to 6 monitors. On the back of the card there are 5 mini DisplayPort 1.4 ports, and the welcome inclusion of a USB-C connector. In addition to that, the DisplayPorts support the new display streaming compression standard, so they can drive displays up to 8K at 60 frames a second. Installing the card in my Razer Core X was a piece of cake, and I was up and running in no time. As soon as I flipped the switch, my MacBook recognized the graphics card, although it doesn't show up as a W5700, but a Radeon Navi 10. The card also doesn't show on the About This Mac overview page. However, if you go to System Reports and then Graphics and Displays, under the external GPU type, you will see the Radeon Navi 10. But even though this card isn't officially supported by Apple yet, according to their website, I'm still seeing some significant performance gains, as long as we're talking professional software. Now don't get me wrong, there were still performance gains over the Vega 20 to be had in benchmarking software such as Geekbench and Unigine Heaven. But if you're looking to purchase this card, chances are this benchmarking software and gaming isn't what you came here to see. So let's start with Blender. Rendering out the classroom scene with cycles got us a time of 15 minutes and 55 seconds with the Vega 20 and 14 minutes and 22 seconds with the 5700 Pro. Not a huge difference there. However, once I went to AMD's website and downloaded the Radeon Pro renderer for my 3D software of choice, it became a different story. After installing the software and rerunning all of my test renders, I was happy to see a massive performance gain over my Vega 20 in my MacBook. The little shape test render that I did finished in about half the time, and more impressively, re-rendering out the classroom file on the W5700 Pro gave me a time of 1 minute and 9 seconds, which seems pretty fast in comparison to the 2 minutes and 54 seconds of the Vega 20. And although this was significantly faster than the 14 minutes and 22 seconds of cycles, I do seem to have an awful lot of noise in my render with the Pro renderer. I would imagine with a little tweaking of the denoiser, I should be able to get a pretty awesome result, but that's something that I'll have to play with later and report back in a later video. Another thing that I noticed is that if you disable the CPU in the Pro renderer and just let the GPU handle it, you get around 8 to 11% faster render times. I was able to repeat this on every single test, and every single time I unchecked the CPU option and let the GPU handle it, I got a few seconds faster on render times, which doesn't make too big of a difference with a single frame, but whenever you start rendering out hours worth of video, you'll definitely see a difference. And now on to Adobe Premiere. I added 4 layers of 4K video to the timeline. Then I added some blur and color correction to the timeline. While playing through without rendering, the 5700 was completely smooth, whereas my Vega 20 started choking up pretty early on, as you can see. As I tested this, I was able to get around 6 layers of 4K in the timeline before I started to see any type of frame drops or stuttering. It's worth mentioning that I tried these same tests in Final Cut Pro. With those tests, however, I was unable to get an appreciable difference between using the eGPU with the 5700 and just using the MacBook without it. This leads me to believe that I'll need to wait for a macOS update or a Final Cut update before it will be able to truly take advantage of this new graphics card. I also had similar experiences when I used After Effects. My hopes were high while I was using the Red Giant VFX suite, as their designer interface was very smooth and much faster with GPU acceleration. But applying those changes into After Effects itself tells a different story. It appears that, much like Final Cut, After Effects isn't yet updated to truly take advantage of this card. So here's the tough part, my thoughts. For me, this card was a no-brainer. I use Adobe Premiere and I use Blender for 3D modeling and rendering. And for those things, it works great. I also will not only be using this card in an eGPU with my MacBook, but actually installing it in my Mac Pro whenever it arrives. And as I said earlier, I'm not really worried about compatibility because the W5700pro X will be an option soon, so this card will almost certainly be supported in the Mac Pro as well. I will be sure to keep all of you updated, as whenever there is a new update to macOS or any of the software that I use in my productivity suite, you can be sure that I'll be testing again to see how much this card improves over time. In the meantime, if there's anything that any of you would like me to throw at this card to see how it performs, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. Well, that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.